Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Radio X.
Welcome to the Johnny Vaughan 4 till 7 Thang podcast.
Podcast?
Yes.
What's that then?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not here. Ignore me. Don't pick on the leader. The leader has spoken. Welcome to our podcast. What?
It's a very odd way of saying it.
It's not at all.
It is.
What you missed was the new Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh, I didn't.
And did you see the new entries for that?
I did.
The word nominalised.
That's not in there.
It is, as is as is ranimated.
You'll never let it go.
I know. Anyway, this is the podcast. I'm joined by the 4 till 7 Thang gang. Gav, and son to sort of rejoin. So she's rejoined the gang. On the podcast, you can expect goats, dangerous hairdressers, sweat rebelia, which is genius, incidentally, boring men, and lots more. Enjoy it.
Radio X.
You right there, Ash?
I'm very well, thank you.
You right, Gav?
Yeah, really good.
Big sigh. I mean, he won't talk about it, but he's had a tremendous haircut.
He looks so smart.
Seriously, you could just sit in front of a Nissan hut just waiting to get into a Spitfire.
Yeah.
Given the order scramble. It's immaculate.
Yeah.
Although, hang on a second, move around the side.
An Aaron sweater polo.
Actually, he's got a side part that makes it like he's got a sort of bit of a piece. No, on the other side. It's like a bit of a place on. Stand the other way around, Si. If you're going to face people.
Wait, is he trumping?
Left side. But just turn to Gav. Just turn the right side to Gav. Look.
Yeah, there is a little step.
There's a little touch. There's a touch of the toop there. Imagine that people getting their hair cut. So, can you make it look like I've got a really bad hairpiece? Thanks.
Well, he did say to me earlier.
The new look for hipsters.
He did say to me earlier that he was a bit alarmed that the guy used the thinning scissors.
He
didn't feel he had enough hair for, it wasn't thick enough to be.
I'm not sure. At first, I thought it was good because I hadn't seen that side. But it looks like in the wind, you might even get a bit of telltale lift with that. When I started losing my hair, and it stayed exactly as it is now for about 10 years.
Yeah.
It's hung in this state of recession, a bit like Britain.
Yes.
And, very good, Ronnie.
Stable.
Yes, well, no, not really. Just a little horse. Anyway, I went to my barber's, and I had this day when he picked up the thinning scissors. And he just went for my head, and then he looked at it, and I just saw him go.
There's no point.
It's a really depressing day, I tell you what, it really is. But anyway, the point is, Big Si said because he does talk. He's quite eloquent. But he said that he was lucky today. He just, it was Russian roulette down at the hairdresser.
Yeah, because there's some guys you don't want to cut your hair, but you don't want to say that.
Do you get that down there?
Yeah, I do. There's 3 barbers in my local barbers.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not too bad. All 3 are pretty good, but there's one I prefer.
Say that.
No, there's one I prefer the most, and I hope to get in, but it doesn't always work that way.
Because at mine, the one I go to regularly, there's one that's not good.
Okay.
Frankly.
One person in there.
Yeah, he might have gone now.
Right.
But he really, I think they put him on waxing round the back, which they opened up.
Round the back?
Yeah, they've got a waxing department, which is round the back. No, so you just see various blokes sort of scuttling in, always quite hairy men like Esau. And they just, you just see them scuttling around the back really fast to get through. So we can say, who's that? And they're just gone.
Is there howls of pain coming from out there?
Yeah, you can hear people go, from the, anyway, what about you, little Si? I'm inviting you to talk, but don't build your part. Go on.
I don't go to a barber's, I go to a woman's salon.
Oh, you're such an utter. Just sometimes.
You regret asking him now,
Did
don't
you see my hands actually go into the Chinese burn position? It's like you resuscitate some awful thing that I waved goodbye to.
It's a conditioned response.
There's plenty of men, though, that go to my hairdressers.
Really?
Hello.
Yeah, there's loads.
Thank you, Ashley.
And do they book appointments, or do they just queue up and wait?
No, you have to book appointments.
Right.
Okay. Do you have a regular hairdresser so you never have to play Russian roulette at the hairdresser?
Yeah, I always keep with the same lady.
So have you ever had to avoid one that you don't want?
Yeah, Matt, down at my hairdresser, it really is Russian roulette down there. Or Turkish roulette. And I sit there, and I've got a really awful confession to make, which is that I always go down there with my son.
Right. I know what you've done. You've put your son in as a ringer when he came up available, haven't you?
Because then I know I can at least get in after that.
You made your son take one for the team.
Then because if it's normally if it's the best head, it's just the other day it just happened.
Right.
I thought, oh, not him. I know you. Oh God. Here you go, son. I'll wait. I feel terrible. I feel so bad.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
One of the big questions I always ask, every week when there's an article about dinosaurs in the newspaper, is they make these vast assumptions just from like a dinosaur's toenail,
yeah,
and they'll then draw an artist's impression of what. And
They
that's
they
a guy.
extrapolate the hell out
Yeah,
of it.
that's a guy who's never seen the dinosaur, just looking at a bone, talking to an artist and going, no, make the head bigger, make it bigger, make it bigger. I think a longer tail, longer.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, longer tail. Yes, from this shin.
I like that.
I like that. And maybe
Feathers.
like a stegosaurus. Well, this is a big question. All I want to know is, were they scaled or were they feathered? Is Jurassic Park? Should they look like kind of lizards chasing you or
Lizard. Lizard.
Should look like a lizard, man. Should look like a lizard. What is that thing? Put that thing away. Should look like a lizard, man. Stop distracting me, Gavin.
Sorry.
Honestly. No, that's really bad of you. It's like the guns of Navarone. Once more, throwing the stone to distract the guard.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, don't look pleased with yourself. What is it with you and little Sai today?
Yeah.
Just stop it. Anyway, scaled or feathered? Are we being chased by giant, like seagulls or lizards? Lizard. Well, do you know what? Wings from a bird-like dinosaur that lived nearly 100 million years ago have been entombed in Burmese amber.
Right.
The mummified remains are remarkably preserved and are the first to show the depth of feathers in the wings of the Enantiornithines.
It's like a pterodactyl, presumably.
No, it's an Enantiornithine, which are avian dinosaurs which had teeth and claws at the end of their wings, which I don't believe. They've made that up.
I have to believe that.
They-
That
what, they
sounds
had-
like a griffin.
What, they had teeth at the end of their claws? Don't, man. Don't. Seriously, the
Claws at the end of their wings. It didn't say teeth at the end of their
It does.
claws.
It says teeth. It says avian dinosaurs which had teeth and claws at the end of their wings. There's no comma. We assume at the end of their wings it had snarly teeth. It had mouths at the end of its wings.
There might have just been big teeth like Gary Busey's.
It had claws coming out of its mouth. What you're saying? They looked like Gary. At the end of its wings, it looked like Gary Busey in flight. Don't, man, because you know Gary Busey's the funniest man alive. Anyway, the specimen was found, as I say, in Burma. So we now know that there were feathered dinosaurs that had teeth and claws
on the ends of their wings.
the end of their wings. I think they should repunctuate that sentence because that's not good. It's made it more ambiguous. It really has.
Radio X.
Gav, do you want to give us a hero?
Yeah.
Let's serve her up. A hero is a dish best served cold, is not a phrase anywhere. Gav, tell us about your hero.
Today's hero is called Scolopendra cataracta. Cataracta is the Latin for waterfall.
See, this is how I persuaded my boy not to give up Latin.
Why?
Well, he was saying it's a dead language. But having said that, every living thing on earth has got a Latin name.
And also half the languages in Europe.
Yeah, and it's the one looking back, I wish I hadn't just stepped through.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like some sort of born-again educationalist.
Anyway, apart from its Latin name, it is in fact a giant, swimming, venomous centipede.
And this is your hero, Gavin.
Yes, because we like the odd dangerous animal here on the hero.
Okay, I've got to tell you, Gav, it's nothing heroic yet, but carry on.
No, well, this thing is the first one that's ever been discovered that swims. So it's one of those
Okay.
horrible... I've got a picture of it here, I'll show you in a minute. It's a big black 8-inch centipede with green legs. And a tourist in Thailand, a man called George Beccoloni, he's an entomologist. He picked up a rock and saw this thing scuttle off into the sea. And he says he knew, being an entomologist, that there were no centipedes that
What a
swam.
great feeling that is. That's exactly... It's a bit
Can you
like-
imagine how he felt?
Yeah, it's a bit like in Master and Commander.
Absolutely,
When he
yeah.
suddenly sees that...
Yeah,
what is
the
it, that-
iguana.
No, is it an iguana or he sees a flightless something? I can't remember. But
It's a creature that they never knew swam before,
Yes.
wasn't it? Yeah.
What an exciting world it was and still is to etymologists. Go on, Gav.
Well, this guy captured it and put it in a big glass jar with water, and it swam like an eel. And he said, I knew for a fact that this was a first ever. There was one of these specimens before held. It was quite a rare one, but no one knew it swam. So this is the first ever swimming
So how long
discovery.
do they think that it's been swimming for?
Well, no one knows, but...
Is that like a new... I mean, they must have known about it because I always maintain man is a water monkey and probably survived by living between water and land, hence...
Isn't everything from the sea?
I don't know, but it seems particularly us with our lack of hair and the fact that we just love water.
Yes.
You know, the fact that you
Well, we're born from water, aren't we?
yes. And also, you know, if you look at where we like to go for our holidays each year, we like to essentially just lie between land and sea and
That's right.
and go darker
pop in and out.
go darker and drink a lot and
Well, anyway, this
have a
thing
good time.
has also got an excruciating bite.
Has it?
Yes, excruciating is the word that's used.
So it might have preyed on.
Yeah, this scientist guy, George Beccoloni, reckons it hunts in the water. It hunts.
And what does it take down? Humans?
No. It just hurts a human. It can't kill a human.
Okay.
But its name again, Scolopendra cataracta.
We're not sure White's a hero, but Scolopendra
Cataracta.
Cataracta. The Johnny Vaughan 4 till 7. Thanks. Salute you.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
Time to go to our pet town. This week it was Waltham Cross, and I hope we've got Cass Philpott on the line, who's going to take us on a little mosey round the place. Cass, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Cass, how are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Happy Friday.
Thank you, and you?
Cass, tell us a little bit about Waltham Cross. First of all, where is it?
It's on the outskirts of Hertfordshire and London, basically.
Okay,
so it's near Enfield.
Okay, it's near Enfield. Do you live there?
I live on the edge of it in a place called Cheshunt.
Okay, thank you for telling me how that place is pronounced. That's good. Was that been our pet town too before, Cheshunt?
I've always wondered how that was pronounced.
Because sometimes I go Cheshunt, and I
Cheshunt.
don't know whether to do the sh or the s.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But now we know. What was it again?
Cheshunt.
Cheshunt. Okay. How would you describe Waltham Cross then? What sort of a town is it? If I was going in there, what would I say? Oh, this is a.
Rough?
Is it rough?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I don't know who sold it to you, but it's not all that.
No, you're selling it now. This is it. This is the spirit. This is the spirit. You are
sorry.
now the salesman for Waltham
You're
Cross.
Waltham Cross's best hope.
Oh, I better...
Yeah, this is
Okay,
it.
then.
You're now the tourist board. Okay.
okay.
What's your favourite place in Waltham Cross?
Well, there is... at the Olympics, they had the whitewater rafting, and that's in Waltham Cross.
Is it?
Is
And I presume
Yeah,
that's quite rough. That's what you meant by quite rough in terms of the water.
Yeah, like the current, yeah, it's rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whitewater rafting was in the Olympics, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, actual
Oh, is it? Yeah.
rafting or canoeing?
canoeing.
I think it was canoeing. There wasn't just
Kayaking.
No, I'm just saying. But no. There's no event of raft. You don't get on a raft and go. Hey! Have you had a go at the whitewater rafting?
Not yet. My boyfriend keeps on at me to do it, but...
What's stopping you?
My hair.
You're kidding me, right?
No. I just don't want to get it wet.
You could put a shower cap on.
Yeah, just put. No one will laugh at you if there's one person with a shower cap on.
My boyfriend's sitting next to me. He's laughing at me now.
What's your hairdressers you go to? Let's name. Shelley's been talking about hairdressers earlier. What hairdresser would you recommend in Waltham Cross?
I don't go to one in Waltham Cross. I go to one in Hertford.
Well, is that bad in Waltham Cross? Is it?
Yeah. No.
Well, I suppose
Just
with
not
hair like yours, you wouldn't want to risk it locally, would you? You want to go to somewhere.
Well, exactly.
You know, because I know you're very, very. I mean, you wouldn't risk it around the Whitewater there. Okay. Other good places. Where do you go drinking in Waltham Cross?
I mean, there's a couple of pubs, but no, not really. I mean, they have Tesco's
Wow.
have their own country club round here.
Tesco's have got a country club.
Yeah, and they host like over 50s discos and stuff. But I'm not in that age bracket.
Wow, people are pulling off even as we speak down the motorway. They're going, oh, I'm going to
Over
get me.
50s disco.
Are we going to Waltham Cross, love? It's blinded. Okay, so there's a Tesco country club that has over 50s
Yeah.
disco. Whoa, the hard sell. In a place that you consider rough.
Yeah.
It sounds absolutely terrible. It really just. I mean, you're really not selling it here, Cass. I'm not funny. You're just making it sound like the most. It's got a little. Oh, I don't think even that's going to lift it up. You make it sound. What's good about it?
They've got this Indian restaurant called Chutney Mo's. That's quite good.
Okay.
decent
Now you
curry,
okay. Keep going. Keep selling. Keep selling. Did you just sigh? This first experience of live radio, and already you're going. Where else is there?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anywhere else you'd recommend we go? Should we go to Waltham Cross?
No.
Right on the music. Very good. Speak to you later. Bye, Cass.
Thanks, Cass.
Thanks, bye.
Oh, how about that?
Radio
X. Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
A while ago, we were given a pigeon by our hobby caller. You named him Tony, and it is pronounced Tony. Chaz?
Tony.
Tony.
It's Tony.
Come on, Tony.
Come on, Tony! Bred by a well-known fancier, Tony has an outstanding pigeon pedigree, with many of his ancestors being major race winners. Okay, so that's serious.
Big names,
Good
big
genes.
faces on the racing
the
scene.
big names in the pigeon world. 1,400 pigeons will be competing in a race which lasts over 200 miles, will be held around the end of August to determine the pigeon champion of the world. Yeah. Top pitch. We've just heard from Jeremy and Stuart at the Royal Pigeon Racing Association, who said, this is the quote,
Okay.
Tony is making good progress in training. He flew 4 miles last Thursday and Friday, successfully returning back to base. When a new pigeon, it's the biggest moment, is when you first take them off to see if they've got it locked in.
And they do come back that first time.
And they do come back that first time, because that's the first thing. Generally, they'll take him up to 10 miles next.
I'm tearing up.
At 6 a.m. on Sunday, he flew his very first 7-miler.
Wow.
Building up to 10 miles later this week. Now, the 10-mile barrier, it's a biggie.
That's a big one.
It's a very exciting time down at the loft. Looking ahead to the first hotspot race of the season. That is the 18th of July. Put it in your diaries. Apparently, we can't put a GoPro on his head. That'll weigh him down. And the aerodynamics will be affected.
Dive-bombing pigeon.
But remember, we're talking about the fastest racing animal on Earth. A racing pigeon, moving at speeds of 63 to 68 miles an hour. Avoiding peril, birds of prey, hawk, man, vulture, weather conditions, wind, rain, lightning. Through wind and rain and lightning and hawk and death, Tony will return to us. There can be only one! God, I've got goosebumps, man. Do you know what I mean? When you get that whole pigeon thing. Do you know what I mean?
I can only hear this music and picture that driving through the rain.
Just picture it now, this rain now, and just picture that bird just driving through the rain. Put your arms out if you're listening at home. Put your arms out. Flap a bit. Just imagine. Just say to yourself, I am Tony. I am Tony. Watch me fly. Here he goes. Here he goes. Oh, man. Sorry, that's the hawk attack bit. Take it down, take it down, take it down, take it down.
Sounds like flapping.
He's gone below the hard deck.
Johnny Vaughan.
Radio
X.
Radio X.
2 Spanish council staff. Incidentally, if you have had a good experience with your council and you've got straight through on the phone, they've come straight round to take care of something and they're really good, do give us a call.
Yeah, tell us about that. I'd love to hear about
We've got
that.
a line permanently open. It hasn't rung yet. And, no. 2 Spanish council staff have been sacked. Do you know why?
Why?
They failed to turn up for work for 15 years.
Years?
Sorry, you playing? Do you know what it reminds me a little bit of? Sorry.
I heard a Spanish version of All My Loving once. It really made me laugh.
Was it terrible?
It went, All my loving, lie, lo, lie, lo, lie.
I know the song. All my loving. Anyway, no one appears to have noticed these 2 Spanish guys who haven't turned up for work for 15 years. One was a driver, the other was a gardener.
They can't have been that good at their jobs in the first place if no one noticed.
Well, the Human Resources Department inspected staff records at Jerez de la Frontera. Funnily enough, very near where I did the... And this is in Andalusia, southern Spain. Officials found both workers had collected their pay but not worked from January 2015, 2000 until May the 13th. May the 31st, 2016. They didn't turn up for work for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 representatives of the General Confederation of the Labour Union have gone years without coming to work. A council spokesman said, according to a written statement by the Meaningless sales, the situation could date back 15 years. So they've gone in there and go, so how long has this been going on? And they're Mexican, and they've gone, I don't know. And they must have looked all ashamed.
I wonder if they were having a siesta every day as well.
I don't know, but I love the idea of them just looking down like Gav, like all slowly, like they're going. How long has it been?
I don't know, senor.
What is it? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? It could be longer. It could be longer. Well, how long does it go back?
15 minutes.
15
minutes.
15. What do you think? 15 years? 15 years!
It's just ridiculous.
I don't know whether to be impressed with you guys or. But I'll tell you something. I know the Spanish economy's had a bit of trouble, but I think they should have a little look around the system.
They need to do a stock check.
I don't want to come across some kind of human resources pet. But I got to tell you.
15 years.
Well, they'll probably find out the human resources department hasn't turned up. That's probably why.
I think that's why they don't want to open up that whole can of worms.
Yeah, that probably is, yes. It's unbelievable. The thing is, it's like chicken after a while, isn't it, with them? Because they thought, I'll go back to work. No, they just keep paying us. It's been 2 years now.
Let's see how long it goes
Then
on
you
for.
sort of think, now if we turn up, we could be in trouble. And
I wonder if they had 2 jobs they weren't going to.
oh, I'd like to think so, Gav.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
I often talk about squirrels. Like I say, last week it was Cyril the squirrel being hunted like a common criminal after hiding his nuts in people's pot plants. Thankfully, the community rallied around the medium-sized rodent, and as far as we know, he's alive and doing well. Don't ever text in to say 2 things. 1, pigeons, rats with wings. 2, squirrels, rats with fluffier tails.
Yeah.
They're not. Squirrels are sweeter.
Do you know what a squirrel is in German?
No, but we're going to enjoy this immensely, newsman Chaz.
I know it in French as well.
What? Go on.
So in German, it's an Eichhörnchen.
Thank you very much, Chaz, for enriching this slot.
Dankeschön.
Yeah.
And in French, it's an écureuil.
Écureuil. And what is it in German again?
Eichhörnchen.
Eichhörnchen.
I thought it was going to be squirrel.
Yeah, I was sort of hoping. In German, it's a squirrel.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. In French, it's a squirrel. But I was really hoping for that. I saw ein squirrel.
Ein squirrel.
Okay, we've got an email here from John Taylor. Okay, here we go. Dear Johnny, about 2 years ago, I moved from the West End out to SW15, which is Putney, in this more rural setting. Oh, come on. It is. I discovered around 50 squirrels living near my new flat. It was winter, so I started throwing them scraps of food. Fatal error. Mit der Squirrel. I started throwing them scraps of food to the point where, when I left my building, they would run towards me as if to ask, what's that for dinner today, right? This continued for some time, with a few of the squirrels becoming so friendly they would eat out of my hand. Wow. Then my working hours changed and I was no longer able to feed them at our mutually agreed squirrel feeding time. The level of the resentment began to build. Whenever I would leave the house, I could feel their beady squirrel eyes burning into me. One night around 9 p.m, I took my rubbish down to the bins, the lids of which are around chest height. I know those green wheeling babies. I opened the lid of the bin, and a squirrel, most likely their leader, jumped out onto my face. It scratched me down the right side of my cheek and nicked off with my glasses.
No.
I was left stood there with a mouth full of squirrel fur and no specs. During the incident, I'd let out a scream, which you would. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's a bit embarrassing. Always men go, ah!
He must have got shocked, though.
Which had alerted a nearby policeman. This is great. This is well done, the Met here. Well done, the Met. You brought home the bacon with this one. He asked if I was okay. You okay, sir? I told him that a squirrel had just stolen my glasses. He replied, would you be able to identify this squirrel, sir, if I was able to put them in a line-up? I love the way the police there just not taking the police are hilarious, man. The squirrel in question has not yet been brought to justice. The search continues. That's John, perplexed in Putney.
Radio X.
Okay, I was talking earlier about sweat rebelia. This is after watching at Wimbledon and everyone just sort of flicks really sweaty things into the crowd. I mean, you play tennis, you get sweaty, right, little Si?
Yeah.
It's a sweaty game, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they flick it and be like, ah, it's sweat. So we're talking about sweat rebelia. I've got a text in here. My friend caught a sweaty face towel thrown by one of the proclaimers after their set at tea in the park. Alan from Carnoustie. The proclaimers. Okay, we've got Jen on the line. I think she's got some sweat rebelia. Jen, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm there.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Johnny?
Yeah, not too bad. Good weekend.
Yeah, all right. Not too sweaty. That's good.
Not too sweaty. Okay, where do you live? Where are you from?
I live in London.
You live in London. Okay, what was your item of sweat rebelia then? What did you catch?
Okay, so this was a long time ago, so I'm going to have you not judge me too much. But I was 14 years old.
Okay.
It was 2001, and I went to see Limp Bizkit for the second night in a row at Wembley Arena.
Limp Bizkit, second night in a row. Okay, and what did that?
Yeah.
So that, as a big fan, did that second night give you the edge in terms of you knew where they were going to be on stage at what time of the gig? You were able to sort of judge the band.
Yeah, massively. So the first night, I basically studied the whole show and saw where they were going to go. So I went to the gig
Wait a
early,
second,
bought
Jen.
tickets.
Jen, hang on a second. That's why you went to the first gig. It was like your sort of tactical
Casing them.
You were casing them for night two.
No, I just liked the show so much. I went back and bought tickets outside.
Okay, go on then.
So I'm there at the second night. I know exactly what's going to happen when, which stage he's going to go to, and I basically decide that when it gets to the point where he moves from one side of the stage to another, I'm going to make an absolute leg for it with my mate. Me and my friend, we've obviously got loads of Limp Bizkit t-shirts. She takes hers off, and I throw it straight at Fred Durst, who catches it, proceeds to then sexually wipe himself with it.
Okay,
And then
wait
he
a
throws it
second.
back.
So you threw the t-shirt with this of actually to actually get a sweat sample to make it sweat
Yeah.
rebelia.
Wow.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. Well, we didn't know for sure that was what's going to happen, but it ended up being perfect. That's what he did.
Okay, and you got the t-shirt back as well. He threw it back at you?
Well, he didn't throw it back at me. He threw it back into the crowd indiscriminately, but I managed to catch it anyway.
Okay. Wow, quite a fighter, because that's a bit of a who's who there. Anyway, Jenny, so what happened to the t-shirt?
My mum washed it the next day.
No.
What, your mum washed it?
Yeah.
After all
Yeah,
that?
straight in the washing machine after all of that. And we only have the story to tell now.
But that really defeats the whole point. What? I mean, would you have kept it sweaty?
Definitely 100%. I mean, we didn't wash very much in those days anyway because we were
No,
new
of course you
metal,
did,
you
of
see,
course you
so
It's lovely to hear, Jen. It's lovely to hear you didn't wash much then back then either. Vaughnie, back then it was a world of sweat I lived in. Jenny, thank you very much for calling us. You take care. Have a good day. Bye.
have a good day. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Johnny Vaughan.
Radio
X.
Radio X.
Here's a story for you. You know, I'm always keeping an eye on the rise of the machines. Yeah.
Yes.
My first major bone of contention is that let's not necessarily invent machines and sort of think they're really good when humans are just capable of doing that.
Yes.
We haven't got a problem with that.
Like parking is a
Yes.
good example that you use.
Yeah. But this is one I never saw coming. Are you ready for this?
Go on.
This again, the rise of the machines, the robots taking a job. Now, you never saw this one coming, any of you. Are you ready? The only man whose job it is, his bum, basically, is used to teach proctologists and medical students, a bit about proctology. He has got the textbook bum.
So they use him for demonstrating purposes.
He's got a working
model. He's the working model.
Yes, it's all hooked up.
Right.
Has he got it on his CV?
I don't know what his CV looks like. He hasn't sent it to us because now he's out of a job that he's not going to come here into radio.
Well, there's a robot that does it.
No, it's not. I would say radio lies outside his skill set, although the business is full of lots of art. Okay. Actually, he might fit in. You're right. He might well fit in. Anyway, they're calling it the Robotum.
Of course.
And this robot is going to replace him. The robot can mimic different size prostrates with different textures and consistencies. So people who are having that bit examined, it's very difficult to teach because neither teacher nor student can see what the other person's doing.
I'm feeling a bit queasy.
I'm feeling a bit queasy.
I'm feeling sorry for the people who made it.
But he must have thought this is a job for life.
Yeah.
No one's
I've got this
I've got
cornered.
some crazy skills here. No one's going to match this. You know, I'm like the only human that goes round. He's on tour.
It's a real niche market.
It really is.
Isn't it?
Imagine bumping him into him on a train. You go, what do you do? I'm off to, I'm just going to Birmingham University Medical College.
Or worse, gets recognised all the time. You probably get this all the time, are you?
Yeah. Well, no, if he is, he's in some dodgy situations. I don't think of it. And that'd be an odd thing, Greg. And perhaps, Glenn, you're steering us into I can tell you now,
murky waters,
uncharted territory. Although not, apparently. I mean, very well charted. But let's just think about that. Let's just think about that guy. They haven't given his name. I suppose it's kind of like being a hangman. They sort of remained anonymous for years. Then,
is he among us? Is someone we know? Why are you telling us?
I don't know, but as I say, the building's full of legendary. I was just talking about robot replacing man. That man being
a man who would stand in for proctology exams.
Yeah, he was like the demo bum.
Yeah.
Can I say I wasn't trying to invite you to start punning and writing your own headlines. And the very fact that some of you thought I would read those out is extraordinary. I mean, really extraordinary, because some of the stuff... Okay, here's a guy who's lost his job to a robot botty, a robotum.
Yes.
But the filth that's coming in, the stuff... I mean, it's just... Oh, yeah, Vaughan will read that out. Of course I won't. That's precisely what shuts radio stations down. Now, just stop it. And you know who you are.
Yeah.
And also, a man's lost his job.
Exactly. Have some decorum.
And can I say to number N008, it wasn't bend over. And can I also say to number N6204, he didn't do the job just for the crack.
No.
All right?
That's right.
And I've got to tell you, those are the clean ones. I mean, after that, things really spiraled out of control.
Radio X.
They've got the Tarzan premiere in Leicester Square, where our studio is. It is the nicest radio studio maybe on earth, because we've got this lovely big window out into Leicester Square.
Yeah.
Because we find each other obviously quite dull company in between links. We don't really talk.
We stand and look at Leicester Square like an exhibit.
Gav will read a cookery book.
Yes.
Glenn generally does his nails.
Yeah.
I should sometimes go back to my memoirs.
Yeah.
Yes.
A big side just sways and rocks and bangs his head on the wall.
Yeah.
And
in frustration.
And little Simon goes in his box under the counter.
Yeah.
Box.
Yeah.
Vinny has a bit of a laugh. Anyway, this evening we've got the Tarzan premiere in Leicester Square. The jackpot down here, having seen a lot of premieres from the studio over the years. Pirates of the Caribbean, you've never seen it like it. Oh, it's like Wembley.
Bigger than the Star Wars one?
Oh, no, it's miles bigger.
Really?
Yeah, because they've got a star in there with Johnny Depp when he was doing it, who really he gets that a bit of the One Direction factor about it.
It does, yeah.
So you get all that down there. It's
not so much these days.
He's
looking like Mikey Carroll these days.
God, he's let him say. He looks like Mikey Carroll, the lottery winner, won 9.6 million, blew the lot. He does. You think he's going to arrive in a banger.
No, a Hummer.
No, you think he's going to arrive...
gold Hummer.
You think he's going to arrive in a banger and start donutting it round the square with a sort of Glasgow Rangers shirt on. Right. With a gold clown round his neck. Anyway, Tarzan's on there. Now, do you know something? Gav has been trying to research what that sound is.
It sounds like dial-up internet.
It does, yeah. Without the ba-dang, ba-dang, ba-dang.
What the bungra music? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you know something? You can't find out where that sound came from. There's loads of myths about it.
All the options of it are on the wiki page about the Tarzan yell, and none of them are convincing. You just don't know for sure what it is.
And this is my point about history as we go back, is that if we don't even know what made Tarzan's noise, how much is historical certainty? It seems to me anything you ever want to know, it's shrouded in mystery.
Isn't the simplest explanation usually the most likely?
Ooh.
And I think it's the first one that's on this list. I think it's an opera singer from the 40s. It sounds like one man to me.
I think a sound guy's done something in the middle there. Play it again, Vin. Yeah, no, there's definitely a little something in the middle there that's like... As a kid, I used to try and do it.
There's theories that it's been blended with the growl of a dog, a note played on a violin, the howl of a hyena recorded backwards. Tarzan.
As a child, it's all I wanted to do because it's in my genes.
You're related, aren't you?
Do you know what? This is no word of a lie. I am related to Johnny Greystoke. Yeah, one of the Earls. Well,
how is the family tree connected?
Well, it stopped with Johnny Greystoke. Fun enough, who went missing in Africa.
The fictional character Johnny Greystoke.
No, it's the genuine Earl. There was an Earl of Greystoke. It's not particularly linked to that one, but there is an Earl of Greystoke you can look at online, and my mother's family are related to him. So I am related to the real Tarzan.
Wow.
He only went feral for a bit. I think he came back again.
Gap year.
But yeah, he did. He went feral.
Yeah, he worked in the city when he got
No,
back.
I think what happened is he fell for the native ladies and went a bit crazy. And then he came back. But yeah, it's in the family tree. It's quite odd. I never did that. Who do you think you are? Because there's a few quite embarrassing relatives in there.
Are there?
Yeah, there's some shockers.
George of the Jungle.
Really?
Yeah, exactly right. You've read it. Right. But I am. But the point is, I can't make that noise.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
Ladies and gentlemen. Random graffiti, seemingly meaningless. Random graffiti. Why don't you send it in to us? 1896. Yes, it is indeed random graffiti. It all started when I saw the word lager written in large letters on a wall in Clapham Junction. Then you sent in your examples of odd and often meaningless graffiti. Let us know your acts of random graffiti, please. 83936 or at Radio X. Okay, here's some we've had sent in. Thank you to everyone who contributed. We're building up a good random graffiti bank. Okay, DJ Mr. X on Twitter. On the Kearsley Motorway Island subway wall, on its own in red, is written, "Free the robots." Genius. Gav, what do you got?
Yeah, this was sent in from Jane, seen on a derelict house in Greece.
Whatever it is going to be very good. Here we go. And can I say, we can no longer see what's going in. It literally is, we're going in blind, all of us. Go on, Gav.
It says, "Donkey is no good."
Clap it in. It's the most random we've had. Donkey is no good. For to say... Genius, Gav. Who's that from?
From Jane.
Donkey is no good. Glenn.
This one can only be described as unnecessarily aggressive. This is from Dan in Cambridge.
Okay, I like it already.
In the Avery pub in Cambridge, on the back of one of the toilet doors, "Darth Vader was a filthy liberal."
Darth Vader was a
filthy liberal. Hold on a minute.
Darth Vader was a filthy
Vader was not a liberal.
No, Darth Vader was a filthy liberal. What I love about it, is the intelligence behind it. The fact that a fine political satirist has decided the only way he can really publish his work, sod the internet.
Yeah.
Spray can.
Yeah.
To have that much brain and to do something so
and to
mindless.
Pick Darth Vader to call a filthy liberal.
And on the back of one of the toilet doors, he was sat on the toilet and leaned over.
I just thought, ha 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 ha.
Braved it.
No, but what's happened is, these are the reasons ones come out in pubs. What's amazing is that people do have marker pens in pubs. But he's had a laughing fit because someone at the table said, "Shut up, man, Darth Vader was a filthy liberal." And they've all started laughing, and he sat
He wasn't
down.
authoritarian
Okay,
enough.
This is from Steve. This is on a bus stop in Carshorten High Street. And again, who would go to this effort, yeah? It just says, "Usher can't tie his own shoelaces." Which is... here's one for you. This is from Matt. Seen this morning whilst out walking the dog, sprayed on the old railway bridge in Taunton with the words, "Your mum is the Avon lady."
Radio
X. Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Okay, I'm obsessed with, the press obsession with dinosaurs.
Yes.
I'm also obsessed because that's one of the only things they really cover in terms of science. And it's not, it really is the dunce's corner of the scientific world, paleontology. The other place is people looking for life on other planets. Generally speaking, I always dismiss this as people basically looking for dinosaurs on Mars. You're not going to believe
You're
this.
combining them.
Well, you know, for a while I've been saying it's another case of dinosaurs on Mars because that's what they're wasting their time doing.
Right.
Check this. An online video is offering conclusive proof dinosaurs once roamed Mars. It's like they're just playing into my hands.
Hold on a minute. I
Eating
heard
what?
the phrase conclusive proof in that statement.
Clearly, the aliens fed on something. It has been hailed by alien hunters as undeniable proof that huge dinosaurs like those that used to live on Earth once roamed the surface of Mars. A new image appears to show the fossilized skull of a herbivore-like dinosaur.
Appears to show.
Well, there was the famous the famous Martian skull, wasn't there?
Yes.
Which they've now proved is just shadows at a certain time of day. What I hate is the idea that anything that's got two sort of circles and then underneath it a sort of slash, that must be a face.
Yeah, well, we do that. We're programmed to recognise
I
faces,
know, but
aren't
it's extraordinary just how no one points that out.
Exactly.
That eventually you will get.
Yeah, what would be more amazing is if that never happened.
Is if it never happened, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Paranormal investigators.
Yeah, alien hunters.
or crackpots, as I like to call them. Generally, when they're on the telly, there's one thing they like to do with these guys. Generally got ridiculous hair. They always like to put them in front of a bookshelf.
Yeah, to make him look learned.
To show they've read things.
Yes. Yeah, it's like interviewing Jedward in front of a mixing desk, like musicians sit behind. They always interview musicians at mixing desks.
Yeah, of course they do, yeah.
Yeah.
The Paranormal Crucible YouTube channel, God knows how unregulated that mob are, uploaded a video about the discovery, saying it could also be a wild horse-type creature. Yeah, because it looks like a Western out there.
Type.
One of those horse dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know those. With ancient cowboy men.
The Nagasaur.
Yeah. The Nagasaurus. Exactly right. An array of skulls and other so-called creatures have allegedly been found in NASA pictures of Mars taken by the Curiosity rover droid. I wouldn't have got a droid made by rover.
No.
I mean, they didn't make it here.
No.
You know?
That's right.
I mean, it's like pensioners sightseeing.
It really is. There's
an
probably
old rover.
A tartan blanket on
Imagine
it,
if
yeah.
that's what they had sent up there. There's just a fleet of old rovers. That's where they all went. We literally sent 5,000 old rovers to Mars.
We've named it Rover. Mars Rover.
And that's where they got the idea from. And when aliens discover it in years to come, they'll think this was the pinnacle of Earth's technology.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
Goats are as loving and clever as dogs, say smitten scientists.
Loving?
Yeah, how about that?
I've not seen a goat be loving before.
Well, there are jokes about it.
Are there?
Yes. Anyway, they may seem an unusual candidate for the title of man's best friend, but scientists have suggested that goats could rival dogs in forming an emotional bond with their owners.
How many goats have they done with? I reckon it's one particularly affectionate goat and they've gone, oh.
Well, I'm going to show you the photo and you'll get the reaction to this. Please react using your voices.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not good radio.
Okay, go on.
Have a look at this. It's never good radio. You ready?
Go on.
I mean, like...
What?
It looks... Right, so what it is...
Okay, you're out of here. You're out of here.
First of all...
That's a yellow card, Glenn. I was expecting...
Can I describe the...
Let's do it again with you two playing along. Look at the photograph of the owner with the goat on his shoulder looking like it loves him, okay? And let's not be cynical. Let's give it a proper reaction.
Go on.
Because you already spoilt the billing. And this isn't going on, Glenn. Or I'll get Sunta back.
All right.
Well, you've got to admit, they are looking like they're
Yes, they are looking like they like
lot.
each other. Thank you.
It's got a bit of a smile playing across its lips.
Thank you, Gavin.
It
now
has.
you get into the spirit of it. Okay.
There are memories there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Glenn. Okay, put it this way. Look at that, yeah. When was the last time anything showed you that kind of affection?
Yeah.
No comment.
Okay, the answer is never. Not like that. And when have you smiled like that for someone?
They look...
I haven't because it's a goat.
Exactly right. Because you've never known the love of a good goat. Researchers from Queen Mary University of London aim to prove that goats are much cleverer than previously thought. I don't know why it's their aim.
Previously thought?
Yeah.
Was there a big worry about how goats were considered before?
You let me get through this, so we're going to pick holes in it all the way. I mean, already we've got a lovely photograph there of a man enjoying a goat as company.
Yeah.
And it seems to me the two of you are just trying to pick holes in this as being a radio-worthy item.
Go on.
I don't know if it's worth it now.
No, go on.
You're kidding.
All right, then. Their latest experiment showed that goats will gaze imploringly at their own.
So they'll stare.
No.
Goats stare.
No, admittedly, I've circled the word imploringly because I've put in the word I've underlined. I've added the word surely projection.
Yeah, that's a value judgment.
That's a value judgment. That's what
Really
but they're saying the goats will gaze imploringly. This is the Telegraph. This is journalism. They're not being subjective.
Yeah, how do they know it's not forlornly?
Yeah, wistfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. They do this at their owners when they're struggling to complete a task. So if we had a goat in here now and he was watching me struggling to get through this, that goat would be looking at me like, oh.
Really?
They're really picking on my owner. The team has also demonstrated that goats can work out how to break into a sealed box using levers.
Using their horns?
No, goats can use levers.
Wow.
A task used to gauge intelligence in apes. Let me just tell you, this item didn't exactly go how I wanted it to.
No, sorry.
Johnny Vaughan.
Radio X. Radio X.
Gav?
Yes.
I know you're having real trouble scrabbling round from a hero today. You had so many great options.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's find out what you went for.
Okay.
Every day, the Woodman gives us a hero just to lift our lives and remind us, just of people with higher purpose.
Well, we've had Little Size Horn every Friday, don't we?
Which I've got to tell you is a joke wearing pretty thin.
And this is a horn-based record attempt by a man called Liam Kite. That's the name of the hero of the day.
Okay.
He was trying to play his horn non-stop for 32 hours in order to break a record for Guinness.
Don't you give Little Si ideas.
And he did it at a specially erected marquee at Tower Gardens in Skegness.
Okay.
In 1990. It has taken weeks to organise this, said his mother, Marion Kite, whose son was 8.5 hours into his record-breaking attempt when a neighbour complained about the noise.
Yeah, that'll do it.
A policewoman arrived to tell Mr. Kite to stop playing his horn, but his mother mistook her for a strippogram and told her son to keep going. The officer got...
It's no defence in law.
No, it isn't. They were threatened with arrest, and the mother said she couldn't believe what was happening. The son accepted the offer of accommodation at a public toilet belonging to the owner of a nearby amusement arcade.
Accommodation?
So he carried on playing. No, he didn't stop playing. He was still playing.
In the Carsey?
He trooped over to the toilets with two adjudicators and a timekeeper from Guinness.
So he's still playing?
Yep. And he had 3 different horns he was playing. And the man in charge of his spare horns, that's right. So they took up the positions in different cubicles.
Get the story right, Gav.
They're all in different cubicles. An hour later...
Bit odd, Gav, this whole thing now.
They were on the move again, this time to the foyer of a cinema where arrangements had been made earlier for him to play through the night. And he developed a swollen lip and had to admit defeat 17 hours in.
Oh,
it's only halfway.
It's pathetic.
It is really, yeah.
It is pathetic.
It is.
But the point is at one stage, you've got some Guinness World Record adjudicators.
In 3 cute toilet cubicles.
All in cubicles in a
All
gents.
probably looking at their watches going, this isn't going to happen.
No, but this is an odd scene here.
Yeah.
This could be misconstrued when we've got a guy going for a horn-blowing record in a gents' Carsey. It's a bit bloody odd, that, Not being funny, but that could... I mean, they're luckily no one reported that on the phone. That could have been miscommunicated.
That's
anyway.
True, yeah. Liam Kite.
Liam Kite. The Johnny Vaughan 4 till 7 thing salutes you.
Radio X.
It is radio's greatest item. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about that. It's the greatest item in the history of radio, instituted by Martin, who runs the Radio X website, and his team. And, it's our tribute to his apathy, really.
Yeah.
It is
Well, he's had a broken hot tap for over 2 years in his kitchen. He takes, for washing up, he does plates at a time, he goes to his downstairs loo, just washes them in there. And that's easier for him.
He boils a kettle just to pour a little hot water in the sink.
Yeah. I asked him about it and he says, because I've got better things to do, that's why.
Yeah.
And he snapped at me.
Yeah.
But he did launch the item, Martin's hot tap, he needs a brand new one. But he can't be asked to get it done. Martin's hot tap, been broken for so long. But what haven't you fixed that went wrong? How many of us singing on there now?
There must be thousands of us.
No, are you doubling it up each week? Are you?
Are you?
Oh, why not? That was your one task.
Good answer, Simon.
Come here. Okay. I'll do it again harder. Okay, here we go. Oh. Dear Johnny, our wooden toilet door lock used to jam, but I couldn't be asked to mend it for almost 3 years until my young son got locked in and my wife had to axe the panel of the door to get him out. What? I then took the lock off and now I can't be asked to replace the panel with the hole as it makes it easier to see if anyone is on the loo.
Oh no.
Why don't just take the bloody door off? I love the show, Andrew.
It's like The Shining.
It's unbelievable. Every time someone takes a yes. Go on, Gav.
This one's from Ian in West Byfleet. Painted the bedroom ceiling white 2 years ago and left the usual square bit round the light fixture that the roller can't get to.
Nice.
I meant to paint it with a brush the next day. It never happened.
Never happened.
Couldn't be asked.
No, it couldn't be asked.
That's a classic. Ian.
That's it,
That's
because
a
it means
great-
getting the ladder around.
Oh, you don't want to get
And I
the
bet he
ladder.
looks at it every day.
Yeah. Just can't be asked. Suds.
This is from Sarah in Reigate. Hey, Johnny and gang, I have had to light my gas hob with matches for 8 months because the automatic electric spark thingy doesn't work.
No one mends those ever. No one
well,
does.
actually, it does work, but it's turned off at the plug, and I can't be asked to turn it back on because the switch is behind a drawer, and it's a bit of a faff to get to it.
I can understand
right, it's
that.
under the cabinet.
I don't think anyone ever changes the lights over cookers.
Lighting a cooker with matches is so old.
No, but the
school,
lights that go over, on your above your on your extractor fan
light
thing.
bulbs on the
I don't even
extractor,
know what's in there. I'm down to 1 from 4. Okay, here's the last one for you. My parents' oven is 20 years old. We use a knife. I just love it when people improvise. It's so good. My parents' oven is 20 years old. We use a knife to hold the timer in place so it doesn't go off mid-cook. The door is held shut with the sweeping brush and the grill doesn't work. I haven't had cheese on toast for years. What kind of parents are they? It's a very good question.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
That was our podcast. So did you enjoy catching up on what you weren't there for this week?
Yeah, it was quite nice to find out what happened whilst
Yeah.
I was out the country.
It's weird because early on today we did the highlights of the week's show and you didn't listen to that either.
No.
And we're commenting on it. It's quite weird how you're acting like you're part of the gang when...
Oh, hang on. Am I out of the
well,
gang?
you're not out the gang. I'm just saying you haven't been there for us in the way that perhaps you
Your
should.
credentials need to be re-ratified.
I'm the only one who can say Thang Gang.
That's true. What are we going to do? What are we going to do without that?
Do you know what?
particular-
And the worst thing is, I practice it in the car, and it's still the Thang Gang. I still just can't quite the Thang Gang.
Yeah.
Thang Gang.
You pull such a funny face when you try to.
Well, I don't know. It's like I can't say the word innovative. Shut up. Anyway, that was our podcast. Hope you liked it. And big size gone. I don't know how long I have, so I'll be quick. Download the Kickabout podcast. It's mine and Gavin's other show. We do it on a Saturday. Big Si hates us talking about it because it's so good and he feels threatened. He just does. He's a human. He's a human being. He's
got a hunted look in his
Oi!
eye.
I'm excited. The big
Hey.
man's back in. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Nice to see you.
God, he never talks normally.
No, he doesn't, does
No.
he? You're right, Big Si. Really good. Did anyone catch the lottery on Saturday?
No, I missed it.
Okay, don't forget you can listen to the Johnny